What's up, guys? It's 2023, new year, maybe the same you unless you do something about it. Setting goals is so important if you want to actually change your life and achieve any of the things that you imagine you could do when you're a kid. But how do you do it? Well, guys, I'm going to give you a framework and a tool set, something that was passed down to me from one of my real estate mentors, but it's going to allow you to set time-based, really smart goals if you're familiar with that framework, and then turn those into day-by-day tactics to where you're actually doing things on a day-by-day basis to help you achieve your long-term vision. But before that, guys, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Forrest. I invest in stuff. You should too. Let's get it. First, grab a pen and paper. You are going to want to write this down, guys. It's going to be a pretty, well, not super in-depth, but you're going to want to know the exact process to do this, right? When you think about your life, the best way to start this exercise is really just as a thought exercise, right? So think about the ideal version of yourself 5 to 10 years out. Let's say 10 years out at first. 10 years out, who is that person? What are they wearing, right? Are they in a relationship or not? Where do you live, right? And just focus on that. So start and write those things down. I want you to actually write them down. What is this person wearing, right? What are they wearing when they go to work? What are they wearing when they wake up, right? When they wake up, where are they? Where's the house? What does it look like outside the window when you look out through the window, right? Are there a lot of trees? Is there snow, right? All of these things are really important because they highlight what you believe about yourself or what you want for yourself. So let's do that. The next thing that I want you to start to write down is what type of person are they, right? Are they well-loved? Are they well-respected, right? Are they smart? Are they silly, right? Write all these things down because those will reveal what you believe about your own character. So that's 10 years out, right? Now I want you to go back 5 years and think about what is a midway point to that desired person look like. And that's where we're going to start to set our goals, guys, right? So 5 years out, I want you to first do 10 years. Don't skip. I know you're going to want to rush and skip, but this goal setting exercise, literally do it when you just have some time. Do the same thing for 5 years out. And 5 years out, I want you to do this for how you feel emotionally 5 years out, how you feel and look financially 5 years out, you know, your relationships, fitness, right? Every aspect of your life, you're going to write all these things down in kind of a word cloud of this ideal version of you in 10 years and then 5 years, right? From there is where we're gonna actually set goals. Okay, if the 5-year version of yourself is living, if you in that vision that you had, right, you're in a really big room, right? You're waking up in bed and you look out and you've got automated blinds that open up when you wake up. Well, that shit's expensive, right? So you gotta figure out how to get that. So turn that into a goal, and your goal should be, okay, I want to have a house X right here or there. I want to have this house, right? The more specificity that you could put is actually better. If right now you don't have it super specific, that's okay, but you want to write down, I want to have this house, right? Maybe in part of that vision, you woke up, you went on a run. Well, if you're not that much of a runner now, you're going to write down, all right, I want to be able to run 5 miles, 10 miles. If you have a certain car, if you have certain financial health, right? You want to write down what those numbers are, either in your bank account, and be very specific, right? If right now you have 5 grand in the bank and in 10 years or 5 years you want to have, let's just say $100,000 saved or invested or more or less, whatever the number is, it doesn't really matter. Just write it down as you imagined it, because that's what we're going to back into when we do the rest of our goal setting and our action plan, right? So spend like 5 to 10 minutes, write that down first, and then we'll get into the next part. All right, so we have our 10-year and 5-year, both idea clouds and visions, right? And all these should start from a vision. So if you still haven't done that, go back to that part of the video. Now we're gonna look very tactically, right? We should have your 5-year goal. I now want you to come up with 3-year, 1-year, 6-month, and 3-month goals, guys, right? gonna say that again. You've got your 5-year goals, you're gonna back into a 3-year, 1-year, 6-month, and a 3-month, and we'll talk about the 3-month last, right? So 5 years out, and I wanna frame this for you guys. 5 years is like a medium amount of time, right? High school is 4 years. College is 4 years if you went to college, right? We know how drastically our life can change in 4 years. Well, 3 and 5 are right around 4 years. There's a lot of stuff that you can get done. You could be a completely different person in 3 to 5 years, entirely. You can start a new career and have 4 years of experience in that career. Like when you start a new career, you're so worried about not knowing anything. Well, don't even worry about that part. Just imagine being 4 years in, 5 years in, right? Thinking of it in that framing is going to help you get past that initial emotional pain or like struggle of wanting to get into that thing, right? But first, start with your 3-year goals. It's gonna be the same thing, right? What do you imagine, and kind of use that framing of either college or high school and how much can happen in that amount of time. Just set some goals that you think make sense, right? So I'm gonna give you an example, right? I do this all the time for myself. My 5-year goal, well, let me give you something a little concrete. Let's just say in 5 years, I want to have $5 million, right? That means in 3 years, I need to be kind of on the way there, right? And I could do a bunch of math to figure out what I think my year-over-year, accumulation of wealth is going to be. But in 3 years, let's say I want to have $3 million. Cool. And then in 1 year, I want to have $1 million, right? And it kind of steps up. It makes sense, right? It seems more achievable. And then from my 1-year goal of $1 million, in 6 months, I want to have, let's keep it easy, $500,000, and then in 3 months, I want to have $300,000, right? Very linear. It's not exactly linear, but you can see how there's a step function for wealth there, right? I don't just stick with the one big goal of $5 million in 5 years. Instead, I have a near-term goal, which is kind of tough, right? If you think about it, it's like, okay, I got to make a couple $100,000 in just the 3 months, in just the 6 months, in just the 1 year, right? But that pushes you towards a smaller near-term hard goal, which rolls up into that big aspirational goal. And you always want to have that near-term pressure, right? So as 3 months goes by, and I got a spider web on me or some shit. Enjoy that. As 3 months goes by, you should be updating your goals, right? And this isn't something, by the way, if you're already thinking, well, what happens when I fail? You're gonna fail, guys. And the most important part of this exercise, which is hard to put into the format of this video, because I kind of received this during a conference and during a workshop, but this is a practice, right? This entire thing that we're doing here, starting from your 10-year vision, 5-year vision, is to first start with addressing your beliefs about yourself, right? And you actually want to sit and think, if there are negative beliefs there, change those, right? How can you change those and turn those beliefs about yourself and those desires for yourself into aspirational goals at the longer time frames, right? And then on the shorter time frames, just like we do as traders, is where we're actually taking our action. We're starting on the much bigger time frames and figuring out what the trend is for our life, what our life looks like in the greater scheme of things. And then on the shorter time frames, we're taking actions to get there, right? 3 months is not a lot amount of time, right? 3 months, especially right now, that's 1 quarter for me. I have meetings already scheduled 3 months out. I have so much of my life is already organized within a 3-month window, which is why your 3-month goal should be something really tactical. Let's use fitness as an example, right? If your 5-year goal is to be able to do a one-handed handstand, right? But right now you're a couch potato, right? Or maybe you're overweight and you can't even do a handstand. Well, your 3-month goal should just be to be on your hands every day, right? You see me, I could do handstands, right? I could actually teach you how to do handstands. We're not gonna do it because that's not what this channel is about. But the simplest way to learn handstands, guys, is literally just time spent on your hands. Straight up, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter what drills you do, doesn't matter. Literally lean up against the wall every day and you will fall into having the handstand skill, I promise, right? So that's what the 3-month time period is for. 3 months is, I'm gonna do this every single day for the next 3 months. That's exactly what your 3-month goal should be like. For the next 90 days, I'm gonna do this, right? It's just taking action, forming a daily habit, because our life ends up being the sum of our habits. I've said it in other videos before. If you're unhappy with today, look at what you did the last 5 days, right? If you don't feel good physically, well, what'd you do the last 5 days in the gym? If you don't feel good emotionally, what has happened in the last 5 days for you emotionally, right? If X, Y, and Z, right, your life really is just a sum of what you do on a daily basis, and you can change that just by changing what you do on a daily basis, right? Don't think about, you know, some one day drastic change. That's great when those moments happen, but it's really hard to stack those up and do that over and over and over again, right? Just think about, again, your 5-year goal. You're gonna get there in 5 years, maybe faster, maybe a little bit later or slower. That's fine, but start with that 5-year aspiration, turn it into 3-year goals, turn that into a 1-year action plan. On the 6-month time frame, figure out what you're gonna get done in 6 months, and in the 3-month time frame, I want you to figure out what you're going to do every single day. And again, you're gonna do this for, you know, your emotional life, your fitness life, your relationship life, and certainly your financial life, right? We're day traders, so I'm gonna scope everything into finances again and trading, guys. But if you're just starting your financial journey and you feel overwhelmed because right now you can't even trade, right now you don't have a brokerage account, right now like you only have a couple $1,000s, you don't know what an option is, you don't know how to buy and sell, stop thinking about the 10-year goal. So many people are starting with that point and they're thinking about, how can I become a successful trader? You need to fill in the gaps, right? That's what this exercise does, fill in the gaps. So what can you do every day starting from nothing? Every day I'm gonna spend 10 minutes watching a YouTube video on financial instruments, whether it's understanding call options, understanding put options. If you do that, that's a really simple goal, right? It's 10 minutes every single day. Now you have this accumulation of knowledge of all these little things which aren't really hard. It's just a lot, right? It's just a lot of random stuff to know. Well, now you know it. Now what can you do now that you know it? Well, now you can open a brokerage account. You open up your brokerage account, and now this question of, can I invest with $1,000? You know the answer because you've watched so many videos. You know exactly what you can do with $1,000. Cool. So now you have your account. You start moving your $1,000. You're getting in and out of trades. You're doing that for 3 months. Your goal, by the way, isn't to make a ton of money because you've done all this homework. Your goal in the next 6 months after doing that first 3 months is to just not lose money. So now you're practicing trading and you're not losing money. Cool, 6 months goes by and your goal in 1 year is to maybe, you know, double your account in that 1 year after the 6 months of practice. Cool, so more time passes, you slowly double your account and you go on and on from there. But every quarter, this is gonna be a really important thing. We're not gonna do it. We're gonna do one more shot here. We're gonna talk about what you should be doing every single quarter while you're working on all that stuff. So every 3 months, right? Every quarter, every good amount of time, right? And I'm being very flexible here, even though I'm trying to give you like a rigid framework that you should be writing down in full. By the way, you should have pages of notes. When you do this exercise, you should have pages of notes, guys. Right? Spend a lot of time with yourself. This is your life, right? This is your future. There is no shortcuts, right? If you feel in a rush, I want you to think about why you're feeling in a rush. What is it that you're competing with, right? Is it going to get a hot dog? Is it meeting up with somebody that you think is hot? None of that shit matters, right? So pause, take a breath, sit down with yourself, write it down, do the boring work, because this is your life. If you want to achieve that vision, you've got to be able to do this boring stuff. But anyways, every 3 months, you should be doing this exercise. And that's important because, like I said, you're going to miss your goals, guys. If I showed you all the goals that I had, right, from all these different exercises, for the most part, I did really, really good on the short term. I missed a lot of stuff in the middle term, and I've hit some of my longer term goals. And what that should tell you is that what's most important is taking action, right? Coming up with a daily routine based off your goals. Take action. You're going to hit and achieve stuff just by taking daily action. What you end up doing though is going to be a little bit different than what you thought, right? In the medium term, but in the long term, it's going to line you up to really hit those big things that you really would have won out of life, or discover new things. One of the really cool things that when you do this on a consistent basis and you look back at some of the things that you had, and it kind of depends on where you are in life, you know, it doesn't matter, but just always update where you are, update your daily routine. If you try something, right? Maybe you end up with journaling every day. You're like, I'm gonna journal every day because I really want to track my emotional state compared to how I did on that day in the markets, right? Something I used to do. I used to put, I woke up, I felt great, I felt bad. Then I compare that to whether I had a green or red day, right? Really simple. And you do that for 90 days and you find out, well, you don't want to do that anymore. Or you find out you want to do it twice a day, right? You want to journal to a crazy amount, right? That's exactly what this is for. You should be doing this once a quarter. You know, if you realize something, you know, 2 months in, you're like, I really want to add to my routine, update your goals, or you meet somebody who inspires you to put on a new, longer, life-term goal, add that goal, guys. Write it down, put it in your journal, wherever you're doing this exercise, put it on your vision board. If you don't have a vision board, I encourage you to get a vision board. We're not gonna talk about how to do that, but it's basically just a board with all of the stuff that you want out of your life, visualize, print it out, put it up there. All this stuff is so important. And I'll wrap this up. For anybody who's at this point in the video and you're curious, like, do I really need to do all this to be a successful trader? Trading is not how you think it is, guys. Trading is really just mastery of your mind. And I say that in the most like non-wishy-washy way. Like, being a trader isn't about being super smart, even though there are a lot of smart traders or anything like that. Being a trader is mostly about, can I control my emotional state? The first trade on the day, if I make $4,000, can I stop trading? Even though it's only 9:43 a.m. and the markets close at 4. Because what happens is you enter a state of euphoria where you feel like, man, you're the champ. But you know what 99.99999% of traders do is they piss all those gains away, right? They chip it away. 100 bucks here, 200 bucks there. Oh, made 300 bucks, lost 500 bucks. End of the day, you're up $1,300, even though you're up $4,000 in those first few minutes. I can tell you, because I've done this so many times. So many times I've done this, guys, where you have really big green and then you chip away at it. That's because you can't manage your emotional state. You can't just accept the win, sit on it, do nothing, and just prepare for the next best trade. Trading is all about mastering yourself, and what's really key here is that everybody's different, right? So while there are definitely fundamentals and setups and all the technical stuff that you can learn that is a consistent baseline, how you trade, what gets you excited, the amount of money that is gonna make you afraid or depressed is very different than everybody else, right? I grew up in the Midwest. My parents were in the military, right? And we were poor. When I look back, we were definitely poor, right? Didn't have new clothes. I had pants that were too short because we were poor, right? I had Walmart brand shoes because we were poor, right? I didn't have cool stuff. So my entire baseline, regardless of how much money I've made now, is based off of me growing up in that environment. If you compare me to somebody else, maybe who grew up in abundance, right? Their vision on what is a lot of money, what it's like to lose a lot of money, right? If their dad was buying and selling $1 million, pieces of land as a kid, it's gonna be very different than what I experienced, right? That's not to say that there's excuses or anything like that, right? You started where you started, I started where I started, right? And regardless of where our destination is, maybe you're closer, maybe you're farther, right? Maybe your path is a straight line, maybe you get beat up along the way, maybe you have people helping you there. If you've decided you want to get there, you got to figure that shit out. That's all I'm trying to say, guys. If you decided you want to get over there, and someone else decided you want to get over there, don't worry about how they're getting there, right? The only thing that you can worry about is how you're going to get there, and that's just life, right? Ultimately, what you'll find is that when you have that laser focus, you'll find people who are going on the same journey as you, and you all start to help each other out, right? That is the thing that happens in life. That's why I have a trader community, which you should click the link down in this video, join my community, right? That's why I'm doing this video right now, is to help people, right? The world isn't this nefarious place out to get you. The world is actually very indifferent, and most of the bad things that happen to us or around us are due to that indifference. But again, and I'm gonna say this because I actually do believe it, right? When you find like-minded people, we all help each other out. But I really hope for you all and everybody who sees this, that you take time, whether it's in this framework or whatever way, to actually write down your goals for yourself, right? It's not good to just have it as an idea, because I guarantee you it's gonna change. Write it down, do an exercise, do some type of ritual, and work on it every single day, right? Especially if you're a trader, it just takes time, it takes practice. With that though, guys, again, my name is Forrest. I invest in stuff. You should too. Your fitness, your emotional health, and certainly your finances. But that's it. I will see you in the next one. Peace.